Hi, I'm Lisa Dumas, and if we haven't met yet, I've been teaching yoga for a decade, and I'm also a personal coach who specializes in helping others with anxiety, shame, and perfectionism. And the reason that I specialize in those areas is because it was yoga and meditation and the tools and practices that I've come to since discovering that path that helped me to heal from a 15-year bout with disordered anxiety. Now, for the past several months, I've been creating something called the Warrior to Warrior blog. And the intention behind that writing has been to offer a safe place to learn about those tools and practices and insights and inspirations that can help to soothe the anxious mind and body. Because I know it can be really confronting as somebody who battles anxiety to make our way into a new experience like a workshop or a yoga class. And that's actually why I'm working on a digital course to help soothe the anxious mind as well. So that's coming soon. But this week I decided to do something a little bit different because the concepts that I'm writing about in the weekly blog are usually informing the public yoga classes that I'm teaching here in my city, Vancouver, British Columbia. And they're also the inspirations behind my own personal practice. And that's something that I love about this sacred science of yoga, is how our physical yoga practice can be an embodiment of what's inspiring us, of what we want to cultivate in our lives. It can be an embodiment of our intentions. In fact, a wonderful yoga teacher, Donna Farhi, has said that without intention, these physical shapes are nothing more than just physical shapes. We need breath and intention to fill up these postures, to give them meaning. So the meaning behind offering a video version is to offer an embodiment of what I've been writing about. And the topic this week comes to me because of the time of year. As I'm recording this, it's mid-September 2018. Most of us are now right into our new busy fall schedules, and that can make us feel a little bit stuck. It can make us feel stuck in that routine. It's also getting darker earlier, so that can bring on stagnation. Another reason I wanted to offer this in a vlog format is it's important to get our bodies moving at this time of year. And the topic that I'm thinking about in order to balance out the possibility that we might be feeling stuck in our routines and stuck in a rut is this concept called beginner's mind. And this comes from the Buddhist tradition, and it's defined as a state of being completely open and eager, free from preconceptions in whatever it is that we are focusing on or doing at the time. For example, when I think about beginner's mind, I think about my own experience when I first found yoga. At that point, my life had gotten very, very small because of how anxious I was all the time. And that first yoga class offered me such an incredibly different experience that I felt so present to it. I had no preconceptions about it. I was in awe at the different state of being it offered me, the stillness of mind that it offered me, this ability to feel so grounded and present in my body. Beginner's mind is a place where we're feeling just childlike curiosity and wonder about whatever we are doing. So what if we were to apply the lens of beginner's mind onto the areas of our life that don't feel so new, that feel old and routine, areas of our life that we have a lot of preconceptions about? What comes to mind for me is our relationships with others and our relationship with ourselves. What if I applied this sense of wonder and curiosity to my relationship with my 16-year-old daughter? Rather than having my preconceptions take hold, where I decide how she should be and how our relationship should be and the things that she should be doing with her time. Instead, what if I was curious about her experience, curious about my own reactions and triggers, and in awe of the growing nature of our relationship, and in awe of how she's growing. Same thing with my relationship. Same thing with my daily tasks. If I applied the lens of beginner's mind to what I was doing, even if it was standing in line at the grocery store, I would be receiving everything about life, just one breath at a time, the sights and the sounds, using my senses to feel fully alive and fully curious about everything that was going on. The question I have for you is to think about an area of your life that really excites you, that lights you up, and consider when you first came to that activity, situation, or relationship, when it first came to your life. How were you feeling? And what were you thinking about that? And then the invitation is to apply those same kinds of thoughts and feelings towards aspects of your life where there are a lot of preconceptions, where you're feeling a little bit more closed, maybe a little bit more limited. And this practice is going to show us that we can cultivate those types of thoughts and feelings, because very close to beginner's mind is also the practice of mindfulness. And this is the practice of being present right here, right now, without judgment, on purpose. So that's going to start our physical practice. And our practice that cultivates beginner's mind is going to be focused on creating spaciousness, a sense of feeling more open at the front side of our body. This is the aspect of our body that receives our lives. So we'll create more openness here on purpose, because yoga teaches us that when we create more spaciousness physically across the front of our body, we start to feel more open, right? Free of those preconceptions, linking into the inner witness, the inner observer, rather than reacting to our limiting and habitual thought patterns that we tend to have about every aspect of our lives. And that's what makes it feel old. That's what makes it feel as if it's routine. But truly, if we were to look at our lives with this new, bright lens, we would see how much there is to be excited and in awe about. It brings to mind a movie that I just loved, I Feel Pretty, starring Amy Schumer, and in it she played a character who was blessed with this perspective on life where she saw nothing but beauty when she looked at herself, and she saw the beauty in the world around her. And I was so struck by the scenes where she's looking at herself in the mirror and she's looking at herself in awe. And I really believe that that opportunity is there for all of us if we are intentional about moving away from our patterns. And practicing being present is a great way to cut through those patterns and start to fall in love with life one breath at a time. We'll start to embody this by setting up in a way that you feel comfortable. You could do this by sitting on a chair. You certainly don't have to have your legs crossed. This took me a long time in order to feel comfortable like this. But however you would like to start this practice, you could be lying down. I'd like you to have your palms face up. And this is a gesture called receptive hands. And this is a tool that you can use away from your practice as well, because it's said that palms turned up, receptive hands, is a wonderful practice to use when we're feeling irritated, when we're feeling frustrated in those relationships, irritated with ourselves. It's said that it's more challenging to be irritated when we have palms face up. It's said to help create that sense of being very open and having a widened perspective. So you can try that and let me know how it works for you, but we'll all try it together now. And then when you're ready, we close our eyes. And we do that if you're comfortable with that, because it's nice to create a boundary between everything that we have done today so far and this moment where we're really bringing a lot of intention to. Also, we're shutting down our sense of sight, and our sense of sight is so tied to the judgmental internal commentary, and we bring our vision within. And that's where we can now use our bodies, which are our anchors to the present moment, to arrive right here, right now. Because we all know that the mind isn't very good at being present. We're always jumping into the future in our plans and our strategies, or we're moving into the past, into our regrets. but our body is right here, right now. So let's use it together to arrive in the moment and maybe start to apply beginner's mind to how it feels to be right here in this space. Open up to the senses. First, that sense of touch, feeling the air on the skin of your hands and all of the aliveness that you feel there, the palms of the hands. Feel that sensation, pulsation, every fingertip, thumb tip. Feel the temperature of your body underneath the backs of your hands. And feel the points of contact between your body and the ground, which, by the way, is always very grounding. And that's one of my favorite real-world simple techniques to arrive into the body and out of the mind when it's starting to feel a little worried and chaotic. Once you have a handle on how it feels to be here and you've explored that sense of touch, then start to bring intention to the breath. I want you to watch your breath. When you inhale, feel how the breath expands your body as if the volume of your body was getting larger. I want you to feel your belly soften and expand and bring that slow depth to the cycles of breath. Observing the breath will let you watch in wonder as you explore the potential of your inhale. Notice how your inhale has the potential of lengthening your body, opening up across the chest, shoulders back and down. And notice how your exhale has the potential for softening and grounding as you relax the muscles of your face, these places where we hold so much tension. Relax your shoulders back and down. And again, sink into the support of whatever you're sitting on and let yourself be supported. Scan through your senses now, observing and savoring the experience of your senses. Again, free from preconceptions, letting judgment fall away, and eager to savor what's coming to you. Sense, even though your eyes are closed, sights, lights, movement, even what you taste. And then we'll start to move in time with our breath. Take a really big breath in and come to cactus arms, elbows bent, fingers spread wide, low tips of the shoulder blades slide down the back of the heart, and you're already feeling more spacious. And as you inhale, the invitation is to link that inhale into receiving. So every inhale, there's another opportunity to come back to receiving what is. On every exhale, let's round the spine, chin to chest, bring the forearms to touch, and then continue with your breath rate. We inhale to receive and exhale. Offer, release, feel. Feel the sensations that you're creating at the front line of your body as you stretch. You might even stretch the throat. And exhale, giving yourself that personal massage at your back body. Good. Can you focus on merging your body, your breath, and your mind? And you'll be noticing here, and maybe with wonder, as your breath is such a mirror of the mind. As the breath slows and deepens, maybe the momentum of your mind is slowing down as well. And remember, it's natural that the mind will wander maybe every 5 or 10 breaths, but you can always come back to your breath. Your breath is a focal point. Just remembering that you don't have to pay attention to those thoughts. We don't have to believe our thoughts. Good. And next round, come forward to fours. I'll move into a side view here. Come down to an extended child's pose, knees broader than torso, come to the tops of the feet, sink the hips towards the heels, reach the arms way out in front of you, forehead to mat, hands or blocks. And then back into that soft, steady breath with your eyes closed. Now you'll feel these new points of contact. You'll check in with the senses here, and you'll tether back into your breath, feeling expansion and softening. Inhale, exhale. So much to observe, so much to witness, as if you were in this shape and every shape to follow for the first time. Next inhale, walk both of your hands way over to the right, lengthening your left hand away from your left sit bone. You want this beautiful stretch all the way up the left side seam of the body. This is a nice posture to do in the morning. Imagine that you could create new space between the rib cage, new space to receive those deep inhales, so linked to receptivity. And then hands walk way over towards the left. Now the right hand reaches a bit further forward. Notice how different it feels on this side. Notice how this stretch is unique. Moving in time with breath, back we go, stretching the hands out in front of us. Come back to fours, tuck those toes to stretch the soles of the feet. Feel that. Letting go of preconceptions of stretching the feet. Sink the hips towards the heels, arms straight out in front of you. Line up index fingers with the long edges of the mat and really use the muscles of your hands to claw down and press forward as your knees and your hips lift. Your first downward facing dog. A lot to feel here. Start with knees bent, hands pressed down and forward, arms strong and straight. Melt your outer shoulders away from one another. Tuck those low ribs in so you find your core and lift your sit bones higher as you stretch your hips all the way back. And then maybe you find stillness, maybe you pedal out your feet. Find the alignment that feels like contentment for you and feel scanning through your senses, staying with your breath. When you feel ready, maybe a big step or a walk to your hands, lining up your feet so that they're parallel. One or two fist widths apart. Take your time to root those feet deeply. Come up halfway, press the feet away from one another to make more spaciousness in the low back. You can bend your knees as much as you need to lift those hips higher than low back. And then hands either to blocks, shins, or thighs as you find length. And then exhale, bow. One more time. Inhale as the heart reaches forward. Think about the belly lengthening towards the heart. And consider receiving a new moment anew as that heart lifts. And then exhale, bow. Press the feet down and away from one another. Hands to the hips. Strong legs, strong glutes. Rise heart first, shoulders back. Arms by your sides, palms face front. Receptive hands once again. And savor and receive each and every moment of your experience. Through the senses, through the breath, feet on the ground. Brand new moment, reach for it, stretch tall. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Halfway rise, receive. And right foot steps back. Low lunge. Back knee taps down. Hug your legs towards one another. Feeling the pit of the belly engage. You could stay right here, or if you're coming up to cactus arms with a long tailbone, your waistline drawing back, and find that spaciousness across the chest here. Make this work for you. Let this be an embodiment of cultivating freedom from preconceptions, openness, eager. Exhale, reach down and forward. Plant those hands, take it back to your downward facing dog. Ripple forward to your plank, letting go of judgments and just noticing this strong pose. Lift your face and shoulders and pit of the belly and thighs away from the ground. Inhale, shift forward, look forward, face and shoulders stay lifted, weight of the body in the triceps. Certainly the knees could come down first, come all the way down to the ground. Walk your feet a little further away from you, parallel feet, tap down, anchor the tops of the feet, anchor the hips, hands light next to low ribs, curl the spine right behind the heart, shoulders, elbows back, cobra. Exhale, lower, tuck those toes, downward facing dog pose. Breathe and feel. Reconnecting with intention.
And the experience of this downward dog, this Adho Mukha Svanasana, as if it were the first. As if you're moving from core strength, inhale, right leg lifts from inner upper thigh. Exhale, step the foot all the way forward. Front ankle underneath front knee. Tap the back knee down. Now your left fingertips stay on the ground or on a block. Squeeze inner thighs towards one another. Tone the pit of the belly, and from a strong core, sweep that right arm high. Both shoulders back. You're really hugging your legs in towards one another and feeling the pit of the belly move back and up. Receive, an embodiment of receiving. And then exhale, unwind. Tent the fingers out in front of you. When you step forward, keep the back leg lifted, L shape, drawing inner thighs so you feel a strong core support you. And then both feet touch down. Halfway rise. And exhale, bow. And then bowing forward with an open heart as you interlace the hands behind your low back. Really soften those muscles behind the heart. And watch and wonder as instead of forcing, you're able to allow the interlace to float higher, maybe one day towards the head. Feel all of the power of feet rooting down and away from one another, and then gently rise from the interlaced hands. Good. Take a moment to feel, receive, link back into breath and body. This experience as if it were the first. Next, inhale, reach high. Breath and movement merged. Exhale, swan dive. Halfway rise. Left leg back. Knee touches down. Cactus arms receive. Reach forward and down, plant those hands. Downward facing dog pose. You could stay right here, or from core strength, slowly ripple forward. Knees can come down. You're pressing your whole body away from the ground. Be curious about the sensations here rather than judgmental. And then when you're ready, keep the face lifted, weight of the body in the triceps, maybe halfway, maybe all the way, maybe cobra or up dog, but whatever feels more spacious, tailbone long. And then exhale, downward facing dog pose. Left leg lifts from inner upper thigh. Slowly step it all the way forward, back knee touches down. Right hand stays tented. While you're hugging legs towards one another, you're twisting from mid-torso, an embodiment of spaciousness, an embodiment of being open and receiving. Tone the pit of the belly, look down and forward. That back leg lifts halfway up as you step forward. Both feet touch down. Halfway rise, heel toe, the feet mat distance apart, coming down to your squat pose. You could be seated on blocks or pillows or all the way down to the ground. But you're squeezing your heels and your inner knees in towards your outer elbows so that you can lengthen from tail through crown. Nice mudra, all about balance and reverence here. And in these challenging postures, as in challenging areas of life, that's when it is helpful to link into observing and to witnessing away from reactivity. Staying in our selfhood, staying with self. Look down, hands down. Powerful arms, very little pressure in the knees. Back to parallel feet. Good, and maybe an interlace, maybe hands to the hips. Coming up slowly, strong glutes, strong core. Heart first. Receive. Good. Hands to the hips, look down at your feet. We're going to create a stable base at the left foot. Lift those left toes, spread them out. Lower them back down, keeping the left arch lifted. You want to feel like the left foot is a suction cup. The left ball mound of the foot hugging back to the left heel. Strong tripod action there as well.
Then when you're ready, the right toes can remain a kickstand. The thighs can become parallel. You could lift an active right foot and squeeze the heel towards the hip. That's activating the hamstrings, which we don't do much in yoga. Might feel good, might be helpful. Or you could reach for the pinky toe side of the foot, kick foot into hand, hand into foot. Your thighs come to parallel. Tailbone long, waistline back, and then grow as tall as you can, shoulders back. Poses where we're balancing on one leg are a great time to simply become present. Letting go of preconceptions, this need to be perfect, this need to get an A, and letting what will be. When you release the foot, hug the right knee back out in front of you. Hug legs towards one another. Hands can stay here or hands come to heart center. And let's slowly bend both knees as we tip forward. At the last moment, we could straighten both legs, hugging legs into midline. Think cobra with the upper back. And then when you're ready, step back to an upright crescent lunge. Hands to the hips, opening up your stance. Tailbone long, waistline back. From here, either shoulders and elbows back or an interlace of the hands. Good, the hands interlaced and moving away from the chest. And everything hugging into midline, so there can be a drawing back and up of the belly and the heart. Powerful back thigh, allow the back leg to support you, and maybe there's a sense of just being able to lean back. Good, tone the pit of the belly, release the interlace, reach the arms high, more freedom in the shoulders now. Now hug both legs and arms into midline, and just a twist from the mid-torso towards that front knee, towards the left. And then inhale, reach the arms high, forward and down into your downward facing dog. Right away, a three-legged dog. You could do this on hands and knees as well, rolling open the left hip. Now there's more weight down into that left hand. Really extend the left hand away from the lifted left knee. Tone the pit of the belly. Square the shoulders to top mat and squeeze that lifted knee across the torso. Maybe once, maybe 3 times. In time with your breath. Noticing what it feels like to lift front body to back body, to move from core strength. And then both feet can tap down for your down dog. You could stay in stillness, you could ripple forward, whatever feels right for you, but you're moving in time with your breath. The mind wants to move into what's next, but we stay with what's now. Good. Maybe a hop, a big step, a walk, top mat, halfway rise, and bow. Take a breath, savor your experience between sides, and allow the second side to be a brand new moment. Use the lens of beginner's mind to feel the second side as if it didn't happen on the first. Be open, be eager for the experience, observant of inner commentary rather than making it mean anything. Hands to the hips. Now you're on your right foot. Stable base, toes not gripping, they're light and spreading. Find that soft, steady gaze. And let go of judgments. Good. Kicking foot into hand, hand into foot, thighs come to parallel, tailbone long, waistline back. You've got your other options. You could be strengthening hamstrings, toes could be on the ground this whole time like a kickstand. There's not one version that's better than the next. A part of cultivating mindfulness and beginner's mind is responding compassionately with what's coming up, and your body is the true teacher here. Good. When you release the knees, squeeze it out in front of you, hug legs towards one another, hands can come to the heart, cultivating that balance. Both knees bent, start to tip forward, a breath or two in your warrior 3, and then gently step back, upright crescent lunge. Front hip back, back hip forward, tailbone long, waistline back. Interlace of the hands. Hugging both legs and arms into the midline and lengthening heart away from the interlace. How much spaciousness can we create here? Moving and finding what feels right. Then release, reach. As you hug legs and arm into the midline, exhale, tone the pit of the belly and twist just from the mid-torso. And then inhale, reach arms high. And down we go for our three-legged dog. This could be from hands and knees, now rolling open the right hip. Right hand more firm, extending away from lifted right knee, shoulders square to top mat. Tone the pit of the belly. See if you can isolate core strength as you draw the knee across the torso. And then 2 more. Ripple it forward to your plank. Knees can come down. And we'll slowly lower all the way down to our bellies. Walk your parallel feet further away from you. Your arms are long next to your torso, palms face down. Firm up the thighs so your kneecaps hover. Think about belly lifting to chest so your tailbone lengthens. First option, lift your torso and your arms and your face. Shoulders back. Squeeze low tips of the shoulder blades right behind the heart. Back of the neck is nice and long. Option number 2, lift your legs from inner upper thighs so there's still spaciousness for the tailbone. That means your pinky toes will revolve towards the ground. Option number 3, an interlace of your hands once again, extending interlace away from the heart. And if this is a morning practice for you, it can be really revitalizing and calming at the same time to bend those knees, reach for the ankles or active feet. Make sure that your thighs come back to parallel. We don't want to splay your knees wide. Keep the tailbone lengthening to inner knees, the belly lifting to the heart. And then when you allow the shins to press back, your heart opens to maximum. Really an embodiment of creating spaciousness at the front of the body. More room for us to receive. Breathe. Whenever you feel complete, come down and allow yourself to rest. Allow yourself to stay still before there's any counterposing. Close your eyes here. And this is your chance to feel. Feeling the echo of that shape. Feeling heartbeat. Temperature of floor. Feeling the shift that has been created through your practice, through your breath. Turn the face to one side, and whichever side that face is turned to, slide the knee along the floor to the height of that hip. Opening the hip and rest. And feel. And then both legs long. Face turns in the opposite direction. Opposite knee slides along the floor to the height of the hip. Feel and pause. Both legs long, and then in as few movements as possible, simply roll over to your backs wherever you are. Good. When you get there, close your eyes, and it's nice to bring your hands in contact with your body, maybe palms face down on the belly, maybe one hand to belly, one hand to heart. I think of this as an embodiment of moving away from the mind's question of what's next to what's now, and staying with the experience of my body. Remember, my body, the anchor of right here, right now, and we savor all of it.
And when you're ready, knees hug in. This in itself is a nice inversion, continuing to soothe your nervous system before you rest, before you meditate to close. One hand to each knee. Start by opening up your knees wide. Press knees into hands, hands into knees, and lengthen your tailbone to the ground, keeping collarbones broad. This might be plenty and really nice for low backs. If you want more, and you can keep your tailbone lengthening down, arms inside inner knees, 90-degree bend of the knees, hands to outer blade of soles of active foot, or if it's too much of a reach, you could hold on to ankles, shins, or backs of thighs. We don't want our shoulders to be rounding forward too much. And now watch and wonder as you slow your exhale, and you can soften even this experience. When you're ready, knees come back into the body. If you have time, nice spinal twists, same time each side here. Maybe supine Baddha Konasana, cobbler's pose. Some of you know that as butterfly legs might be nice before your Shavasana. If you have a bolster or pillow, you can place it behind the back line of your torso so that you're creating even more spaciousness as you rest. But when we wind up laying down flat on our back for the pose of Shavasana, I do recommend embodying receptivity, and that means embodying a sense of being open and spacious. Allow your feet and your knees just to fall away from one another. Arms by your side, palms turned up. You might have blocks underneath the backs of your hands. Shoulder blades down. Anything you need to be comfortable. And give yourself at least 5 minutes without judgment, without preconception, being open to the experience of your body resting. Scan your body, be present with your body on purpose. Feel the bones in your body get heavy. Feel the face soften. Now your breath is light, soft as a feather, but it's still there for you to link back into as you continue to witness your experience, free from judgments, perfectly open, as if you've never been here before.